Here's what you should know about your local housing market in this week's Market Update. We've got two big factors that developed this week that are going to spur on quite a bit of activity in our local housing market. Now, they're not really going to show in the stats yet, but those two big factors are, number one, mortgage interest rates. Mortgage interest rates have dipped below 6% for the first time in ages. Why is that important? Anytime you see a decrease in the mortgage interest rates, that's good for housing market activity. It's good for buyers, affordability, purchasing power, sellers. Any of these sellers that are locked in at a low rate, that decreases that gap between their current rate and their prospective rate on their new purchase, spurring on hopefully more inventory. But more than anything, not only is it good that we have a decrease in mortgage interest rates, but experts have been saying for ages that that 5 handle, getting to below 6%, is a huge psychological barrier for home buyers and sellers. And so based on that analysis, we're expecting that this is going to be one of the more significant mortgage interest decreases that we've seen in a while. Number two, big factor, melting. We've got warmer temperatures. Now, it's not really springtime temperatures, but the temperatures finally consistently staying above freezing. We're seeing a lot of the snow melt, and we're seeing the sun come out. Those are huge, huge factors in our local housing market. More than anything, more than the data, a lot of it is, a lot of consumer behavior is spurred on by weather, which dictates our mood. I see every year we get a few warm days, we get the sun coming out, we start to see some green, and people come out of the woodwork. Now, home buyers, I'm not going to need to tell you much on this. You're going to feel it, and then you're going to start taking action. So definitely give me a call when you start feeling that, which you probably already are. Home sellers, get ahead of it. Home sellers have a bit of a delay. So while home buyers get one nice sunny day and they're out shopping for houses, home sellers often wait until they feel that motivation from the warm, sunny weather, and then they have projects they need to do. They have things they need to get ready before they can put their house on the market. So I am telling you, if you have considered selling your home this spring, we should be talking now if we have not been talking already, and get prepped so you're able to pounce on that spike in buyer activity from the warm weather and the greenery that will be coming out, and get on the market and capture that before your competition, who will be delayed. So that all being said, let's get into the stats this week. Don't expect too much data to be helpful here this week, but we're going to see it trailing for sure in the next coming weeks. So this past week, we saw 29 homes come on the market in Morristown, Chatham, Madison, Harding, Morris Plains, Mendham, Chester, Bernardsville, Basking Ridge, and Randolph. That is a 16% increase over the prior week. Out of these, 19 were single-family houses and 10 were condos or townhouses. The average list price of homes that went on the market this past week was $1,045,000. That is a 1% decrease from last week. However, I'm noticing more consistency amongst the towns this week than in prior weeks. Total inventory is up slightly. We have 153 homes actively on the market. That is 3% more than we had on the market last week. Still very low. I'd like to see those numbers much higher. We are seeing some pretty substantial bidding wars. I'm seeing a lot of buyers surprised by the numbers that these homes are going for. They are not showing up in the data yet, but the inventory is still very low. We've got a lot of buyers out there. I can tell you the buyers that I'm working with, one of our biggest challenges is they want data. They want justification for my pricing recommendations when they get into these bidding wars. And the problem is prices are up substantially from recent sales. So a lot of the recent sales data that we're using to give a hard data analysis of what the price of that home should be is not relevant. So buyers that really want to have that extra confidence that is supported by data are losing out on these bidding wars because the data has not caught up yet We saw a substantial spike in home prices in 2026 starting in January. So do be prepared for that as a home buyer, home sellers. Make sure your agent, when they're pricing your home, is aware of that, and make sure that you're putting yourself in a position to capture that right now. Total homes sold this past week, went way down, way down. We had 9 homes sell this past week in these towns. That's a 47% decrease over the prior week. You really only had homes selling. You had 5 sell in Morristown and Morris Township, 1 in Madison, 2 in Basking Ridge, 1 in Randolph. No homes sold in any of the other towns that we are analyzing. So the sold data is really not telling us much. There's so little data this week with so few sales. Average list price was $678,000. Average sale price was $680,000. Average sale to list ratio this past week was 99.9% of list price, so 0.1% below list price. So a pretty even spread. Morristown and Township homes went 5% above list price. Randolph homes went at list price. And then Madison, we had 1 home sell for 3% below list price. And Basking Ridge, we had 2 homes sell at 2.5% below list price. Under contract, as always, is our least complete data, but most current data. This past week, we had 24 homes go under contract. That is exactly the same amount that we saw the prior week. Average list price of those homes was $927,000, and the average days on market for those homes was 27 days on the market, which is 25% less than homes that went under contract last week. So once again, while it might not have felt like it with the snow this past week, and there is some talk of potential snow coming next week, expect spring is right around the corner. You need to be ready for it. If you're thinking of selling, not only talk to us to get your home ready, we are rolling out some astronomically cutting edge marketing strategies, and our first movers are really going to take advantage of them and get ahead of the competition. So let's talk about some of our new strategies, some of the things to expect from this very soon to come spring market. Thanks for checking in with me, and I'll catch you guys again next week.